Beautiful. Now, that right there was an iron. We can see ball first, ground second contact. Lots of compression there, Devan, wasn't there?
It was. That felt great.
Okay. I love that. And there is a lot of confusion around there, the difference between irons and driver.
That question all the time.
All the time. Now, one of the biggest, most obvious differences is obviously how the golf ball is situated on the ground. One is obviously more towards the center line of your stance for simplicity purposes. The other is more forward and teed up. And the purpose of this video is to talk about the difference between iron versus driver in regards to your pressure at the moment of impact and really where your head should be in space relative to the golf ball.
Sure. So, as you're just mentioning, that iron, because the ball's on the ground, we can't come underneath the ground and hit the ball. We need to be able to hit the ball first on the ground after. And so if you're going to have a forward low point, as we would call it, you need to have your pressure in your body, especially your head, forward to an extent. You don't need to be way in front of the ball with an iron or anything, but you definitely don't want it to be, a head behind, which is what I see a lot with the best drivers. They're not even to the lead ear. They're about a head behind on average. And so that's keeping their pressure more back, which then changes their attack angle. So when the ball's on that tee, though, for the most part, if you're coming down and having a forward low point, you're going to tend to pop it up, or you're obviously going to just get a really low launch, high spinning shot, which no one really is asking for less distance generally off the tee.
I've never had anyone come in and say they want to hit a shorter.
It's too far today.
Not at all. All right, so set up to this golf ball, and what I want you to do is very slowly swing to the top of your swing for me. Now, I'm going to put a golf club up against Devan's head. Now, as he starts to move down, Devan, go down into your impact position. We're going to see that the head moves slightly forward, down into impact. And really, at the end of the day, if we look at shirt buttons, if your shirt buttons are in front of that golf ball, that is a great reference for really where the bottom of the swing is going to be. It's a big extension of this front arm at the moment of impact, ball first, ground second from there. Now, let's swap out. Let's give you this driver. Now, same setup in regards to that alignment stick down on the ground. We can see the ball's more forward. Now, if I do this and I put this golf club up against Devan's head, you swing to the top, mate. Now, as you start to move down, talk about what you should feel with your pressure almost coming down into impact there.
Yeah, so, we look at a lot of, the pressure shifting, the mapping, and you're going to see a little forward shift for sure. I don't think you ever want to feel like you're completely staying back, but what's very interesting compared to an iron is how with an iron, it kind of moves forward and stays forward, and with the driver, it kind of moves forward, moves back, and then moves forward again.
Yeah.
And so that's allowing them to stay more behind it with their head. That's allowing them to change their low point, so they're going to sweep a little bit more up on it, or at least be level with it, get that kind of higher launch, lower spin, what we all kind of want.
Yeah, perfect. So set up to the ball again, swing to the top, and slowly go back down into impact. Let's pay close attention to where Devan's shirt buttons are at the moment of impact. If we dangle that down, we can see it's going to be behind. And the reason being is when the ball is on a tee, we need the low point or the bottom of the swing arc behind the golf ball as it then slowly rises into the ball. And think about a nice, powerful topspin tennis forehand or something like that.
100%.
So with the iron, we're looking to get the majority of our weight onto our front foot, approximately 80% at the moment of impact. A driver, Devan's okay to be more 50-50. We certainly don't want to be back foot banditing and hanging back, but what would you say is a good reference for players as they come into impact, just to get a feel?
Yeah, as far as the feel goes, I think as long as, you have a little forward momentum at the very beginning, I actually don't mind people feeling like they have quite a bit of pressure on kind of the front part of their big toe or kind of the front part of the ball, their foot or their trail foot, and then from there they can still finish. So that's the big difference you're going to see, whether it's Rory or anybody, they're all going to be behind it, but then they're still going to be able to push off and finish forward. The average amateur might fall back, but they're falling back to finish and kind of ending up over here.
Yeah, I think if we relate this to maybe more of a game that's played at level ground, let's say tennis or paddleball or something like that, as you are going for more of a forehand, your body would tend to have this movement where it feels like a low to high motion, and you're almost staying back and behind it as the tool that you're using is rising, versus let's say you're going to try and hit it down into the ground, which a golf club does need to do. We can see that everything is naturally going to flow more down towards this area here through the moment of impact.
100%. And one kind of just easy, simple feel I think that can make your body move that way is to take your setup, again, kind of ball up the inside of the lead foot. It's pretty general. It can kind of cater a little bit depending on the ball flight, other characteristics, but you can take your setup and then put the club about 6 to 12 inches behind it.
Love it.
Try to feel like that's where you're going to bottom out. Now, you're not going to bottom out in the sense you're going to hit the ground, but that's going to be your lowest point. So if I'm at my lowest point here, the only thing that I can do now is to hit this ball is it has to go up.
Yeah.
And so if I'm trying to feel like that's my lowest point, the last thing I'm going to feel like I want to do is get my upper body really forward. So you can go ahead and take your setup. Same idea that we just talked about. Put the club a little bit behind. So when I come down, this is where I'm going to feel like the lowest point is. And then from there, I'm going to kind of feel like I'm swinging up. So I'm definitely swung up in that one almost a little too much, but felt pretty good.
Look, I think most players would take that drive right there. So at the moment of impact, there is a difference between driver and irons. One is on the ground. We need to strike the ball first, the ground second. Driver, it's teed up. So we need a little bit of an ascending rise, and using your head and your shirt buttons as a reference of where that should be is incredibly important. We are out here with Devan Bonebrake teaching us the difference of how to use irons versus driver.
Thanks for watching this video. YouTube thinks that you would benefit from watching this one next. So click that card and it could be the tip that you need to take your game to the next level. I'll see you next time.